Hello YouTube, Fred Bergeron here from Inaxsys. I hope you're doing well today. In this video, I will show you how we can enable destination reporting in an elevator system with the Protege WX system from ICT. Now, in a previous video, we showed basics of the access control for elevators. Now I'm going to add another layer of security, which is destination reporting. The main difference is, with the basic version of elevator control, you badge your card, all the floor relays will activate. So there is a possibility of someone behind me or inside the cab with me that is pressing one of the floors I have access to without having to badge inside the cab. So destination reporting will kind of invert the way it works by default. So basically now when I badge my card, I have to make a floor selection and then only that floor relay will trigger. All right, so there's only one floor that I can select. I cannot select multiple floors. Okay, now let's have a look at how this is programmed in the ICT WX platform from ICT. So in this video, I'm assuming that you already have the elevator system programmed, so I'm not going to cover all the steps that we covered in the previous video. So I'm going to show you what I added to the existing programming of this WX system. So basically, the first thing I did was to select, inputs that will be used as the button feedback from the elevator system. So in this example, remember the last video we had from parking to floor 4. So I'm using these 4 inputs here to basically relate to the same floor. So in the elevator programming, it's fairly simple. There's mainly 2-3 steps that you need to add to the previous programming. So first, you have to select the number of seconds for the floor selection. Okay, I've put 5 seconds, which is typically enough, but you can increase it if you want. And I select the option for destination reporting enable here in the elevator properties. Remember, it's under programming, elevators, and then I enable this option. Now, under the schedule and areas page, you remember that we have the outputs program from parking to floor 4. Now I enable the inputs, for each floor. Make sure that obviously the input assignment is unique. Okay, so you cannot have the same input for 2 floors, obviously. Okay, and that applies if you have multiple elevator cars as well. You cannot mix inputs and outputs between cars. So just a side note, make sure you label your outputs and inputs properly. Okay, so I make sure that I have the inputs that are unique for each floor. Okay, which is basically parking and then floor 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you save, and it's fairly basic. That's pretty much already done. Now, one suggestion, by default, the inputs on, let's say, input expanders are set to a response time of 500 milliseconds, which may be a bit slow. Someone would need to press the button for that long. So what I did for this, example, this scenario here, I went to the inputs and I basically changed the input and the restore speed to 100 milliseconds. Okay, so just to make it respond faster. Okay. Also, depending on how the system is wired up with the elevator company, sometimes they will give you a dry contact that will basically trigger a zone on a ZX16 DIN, for instance. Now, sometimes it's voltage that they give you for button feedback. In this case, we have the ISO 16 DIN rail module that basically will open a zone when you inject DC voltage on it. Okay. If you want to know the specifications of voltage that can be used on this module, please refer to the install guide. Okay. So back to the testing now. Like I said, we've added inputs to the elevator floors that we have in the system now. So if I badge the card, if you look closely at the events, you'll see that the system goes into waiting for floor selection. Okay, and then I can open and close the button, and then you see I've been granted access to the parking level. Okay, so you see the difference is no relays will trigger until you have made one floor selection. And again, you can only make one. If you try to open all inputs at the same time, there's going to be one that will be open first, and that's the one we will trigger the output for. Okay, so again, this is basically a higher level of security because you can only make one floor selection, and an S user will need to badge a card in order to himself make a floor selection as well. Okay, so this is better in my opinion. So again, thanks for watching. This was how to enable destination reporting with ICT Protege WX. Remember, Inaxsys is the Canadian distributor of this product, and so if you need help with the quote, if you want to know more about the products, you can visit the inaxsys.com website and contact the sales team. And also, obviously, we have the support team here to help you. Okay, again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on this video. Thank you.